Before everybody else does. And it's a magic carpet.
It isn't just the speed of thought, it is the anticipation of what's coming. I mean, when you come into a corner, you've got to know what you're going to do. You don't drive a corner round the corner, you drive a corner before you get there. In other words, you set the car up, you say, look, this is what we're going to do, and then you compensate on the throttle, and you compensate through the steering, but to a relatively small amount. You have got to come in knowing what you're going to do. You've got to be programmed. And I think that he had the finest chip going, and it was just programmed. Every corner he'd come into, he had the darn thing programmed. And yet, if he had to make a decision in the middle of it, he had the talent to be able to throw the car from one position to another and catch it and hold it and control it.
He seemed to be talking about, well, the road just does this a little bit here in the corner, and then there's a bit that drops away there. And when he described the car, he was describing the contours of the road and in every minute detail, and the way the car behaved.
The worst is the second chicane and in the third chicane. But it's because the asphalt goes like this, in the third chicane, and it's like this. In the second chicane you're coming bumpy, and then it's like you go against the ground basically, and the car is really down. You get low grip. It's tough.
And it must have been, to him, like everything was much. It was a sort of slow. It seemed like he was recording in slow motion, and that was fascinating to listen to.
Although I spent 6 years racing against Ayrton in Formula One, it really wasn't until I joined McLaren as a test driver in 1990 that I had the chance to see exactly how fast he was and exactly how he did it. Now, in those days, we go to a European circuit like Monza or Estoril for a 3-day test, and normally I do the first day or two pounding around, getting down to what I thought was a very respectable time before Senna came along, and within 10 laps he would have been a second faster. So how did he do it? Looking at the pictures, it's hard to see. But if we look at data recordings showing just how the driver is using the controls, examples of Senna's technique can be seen. Looking first at braking into a corner, the blue line shows me braking. Compare this with the red line of Ayrton, clearly showing that here he doesn't brake as hard or for as long. The result is that he's going faster into the corner. On acceleration out of the corner, Senna's unique technique is equally obvious. Whereas I would progressively increase the throttle opening, Ayrton would immediately start stabbing at it, pushing to get his foot hard down earlier, and therefore exit faster too. Putting both of these together means that with this example, he pulls out 0.2 of a second through this section alone, and that's just one small part of the whole lap.
But where he was, let's say, mercurial in his driving was that he had the ability, from the moment the light went to green, to be on the pace instantly. A number of drivers tend to take the first lap, let's say, a little bit cautiously, because they haven't got the tyre temperatures maybe up to their full operating temperature. The car's been sitting in the grid for a short period. The tyre pressures likewise. So there's a tendency for drivers to be just that little bit cautious to make sure that the feelings that they have got give them confidence. Senna didn't need that. He was able to go 100% on the opening lap. And if you can do that and open an advantage in the early laps, it demoralizes your opponents, and it gives you then that little bit of barrier between yourself and the cars following. And I think the best example I saw of that, certainly in recent years, was at last year's European Grand Prix at Donington Park.
If I take one lap of all the Grand Prix that I have seen over the years to my grave with me, it's going to be the first lap of the Donington Grand Prix, the European Grand Prix of 1993. When Senna started from 4th on the grid, he didn't make a very good start, he dropped back to 6th, but he was first at the end of the first lap.
Prost gets away well, so does Hill, so does Schumacher, and Wendlinger is coming up well. Senna is crowded out and is down to 5th position, and Wendlinger is up into 3rd place ahead of Schumacher. Brilliant start by the Austrian driver in the black Sauber. Prost leads, Hill 2nd, Wendlinger is 3rd, and Ayrton Senna is up to 4th position ahead of Schumacher and challenging Wendlinger as they go round the right-hander into the final hairpin. Senna is up to third.
And after being crowded at the start, a quite brilliant couple of corners by Ayrton Senna. Tremendous stuff. He muscled his way back into the contention at Redgate. He's going inside Damon Hill. And Senna into second place already. And he's giving it absolutely everything in the wet part of the race.
And Senna goes through into the lead. He's passed Alain Prost, so the McLaren leads. Prost second, Hill is third. A tremendous gap between the third and fourth cars.
Senna going away, but I expect that Damon Hill will be looking for a way past his team leader Alain Prost, who doesn't like the wet and won't be in a hurry.
It was great. It was great. We lapped everybody.
Yeah.
And we could have won the race with one lap over everybody. It didn't happen in the end because we just slowed down, but it could have been that way. So I don't remember a Grand Prix that was won in such a style. And there you go. It was one of these days that everything came together between the driver and the team and the circumstances on the circuit, the pit stops, the information, the strategy. And there you put together this incredible, fascinating result.
Formula One is a physical challenge as much as a challenge of confidence and character. Senna made sure he was supremely fit, and while his confidence was sustained by success, his character was shaped by his rare mistakes. And there were few mistakes more character-forming than what happened at Monaco, 1988.
The number one in Formula One at that time was Alain Prost, the man that he wanted to beat, the one that he wanted to become like it and better. He was driving the same car on the same team.
Monaco 1988, he didn't win. I don't remember Senna for winning at Monaco that year because he didn't. I remember Senna for one of the very, very few mistakes through loss of concentration he made.
And that particular year, Alain was, he was leading the race. Alain was second behind Gerhard. By the time he went by, Ayrton had something like 56 seconds in front. But the moment he saw Alain was second, and then Alain pulled something like 6 seconds in one lap to him, he panicked, and then Ayrton made the fastest lap in the race. And I remember Ron shouted to him, "Stop, stop, slow down. It's not going to catch you. It's only 6 laps. Slow down." Of course, slow down wasn't in his vocabulary. The next lap, did another fastest lap, and then crashed.
He was so upset, appalled, distressed by what had happened, that he got out of the car, he walked back to his apartment in Monaco, which wasn't very far away from where he'd gone, and he completely disappeared for the rest of the day.
I kept ringing and the telephone didn't ring. Finally, 9 o'clock, the telephone rang, and it was a person, a Brazilian woman that used to look after the flat. So I speak to her in Brazilian and in Portuguese. I said, "I know Ayrton is there. Please let me talk to him." "No, he's not here." "No, I really know he's there. He just doesn't want to talk to anybody. Please tell him his job." Anyway, finally Ayrton come to the phone. It was 9 o'clock in the evening. He still was crying. He just could not believe it. "I don't know what happened. The steering come off my hand."
He was